Right, this is LSAT PrepTest 66, Section 3, questions 12 through 18, third logic game of this section. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we've got. I've got a software company employing exactly 7 sales associates, or sales representatives, I'm sorry. So it's KMP, QST, and U, to work as 3 sales zones, Zone 1, Zone 2, and Zone 3. And they don't give us any kind of, temporal ordering or anything like that. So this seems like just a straight grouping game. Okay, so each sales representative will work exactly one of the sales zones, so every one of these guys I only get to use once, in accordance with the following conditions. Okay, so rule number 1, either P or T, but not both, works in Zone 1. Okay, so either P or T works here, and the other one does not. Alright, second rule, T or U, but not both, work in Zone 2. So T or U or T. This immediately gets me thinking about T and where it can go, because there's a conflict here. We'll get to that in a second. Okay. Third rule, P and Q work on the same zone, so P and Q are in this zone. S and U work in the same sales zone, so very similarly, S and U always have to be together. And there are more sales representatives working in Zone 3 than Zone 2, so 3 is greater than 2. And we'll just understand that we're referring to the number of people in a sales zone. So this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, 4, and 5. Okay. And so what I was saying before about this getting me thinking is that this T right here, right? There's only so many places it can go, right? Because if T is in 1, it's definitely not in 2. If T is in 2, it's definitely not in 1. And if T is in 3, that means that all of these things are defined, 100% for sure. So let's actually go ahead and see if we can figure out whether there's some possibilities to break down here. Right? Okay, so the first possibility is just going to be that let's say T is in 1. Right? If T is in 1, that means U is in 2. That means P is definitely not in 1. And we can just leave that there for now. Right? Second possibility, let's say T is in 2. If T is in 2, then P is definitely in 1. There's no U in 2, and we'll leave that there as well. Third possibility, if T is in 3, that means P is definitely in 1, U is definitely in 2. Right? Okay, and so let's actually just fill in the rest of what we know. Right? So anytime I see P, I have to put Q. So every time I see P, I see Q. Every time I see P, I put Q. Every time I put S or U, I have to put the other one. So every time I see U, I put S. Every time I see U, I put S. Right? And now 3 has to be greater than 2. In other words, there's got to be at least 3 people here. There's got to be at least 2 people here. And there's got to be at least 3 people here. Right? So all of a sudden, we have a lot more information than once upon a time we did. Right, so let's actually look at these 3 scenarios separately on their own. Right, so T, we have T, U, and S here, leaving K, M, and then this PQ block over here. Right, let's just deal with this first scenario. Well, here's the question, right? If we put P and Q here, well, even easier than that. We need 3 people here, right? Which means that if these 2 guys are together, they have to be here. There's no way that you can put P and Q anywhere else and still have 3 people left to put in slot 3, right? So P and Q, definitely there. There's no other way it could happen, right? And about K and M, well, it just means that, one of them, at least one of them, has to go here. And the other one can either go in 1, because at this point we satisfied 3 having more people than 2, right? So the other one can either go in slot 1, or, you can just pack in Zone 3 and make it sort of overkill, right? But in either case, this is what we're talking about. Let's skip to this one, because we got 5 guys already filled in here, right? Which means that PQ, US, and T are all filled up. Well, we know that there's got to be 2 people here in order to satisfy this 3 greater than 2 rule, right? So that means that K and M have to be here. In other words, this scenario is already completely defined for us, right? This is 100% of the time, if T is in 3, this has to be true. Which just leaves this scenario, right? So we've only used P, Q, and T here. So we're left with K, left with M, we're left with S and U in a block together, right? And so here's the question, right? We know that we need at least 2 people here, but do we know which 2 people it has to be? And the answer is no, right? But we can put S and U here. That leaves K and M to be either in 1 or 3, depending. Or we can put K and M here, leaving S and U to either tack on to 3, because 4 is going to be greater than 1, or we can put it in 1, right? And we can put like KM and then SU, and then it'll still be the case that 3 has more people than 2, right? So once again, these guys can sort of switch off depending on where they want to go. And so there's not too much more we can do with this particular setup, right? Like this one we know a lot about, this one we know a lot about, this one we know a little bit less about, but at least there's a couple of, concrete possibilities that we can sort of look at and think about. So let's actually drag these down a little bit just to make clear that these are our three sort of possibilities in that sense. And from this we have a ton of information to go straight into the questions. So let's just go ahead and do that. All right, let's start with question 12. Question 12 is your typical just do you understand the rules question. So let's take a look. Which of the following could be an accurate matching of sales representatives to the sales zones in which they work? Fine, great. Let's go ahead and take a look. Let's start with this rule. Let's start with these rules. These rules are easier to check, so let's just check them, right? So answer choice, this first rule we're going to check, P and Q are together. Answer choice A, P and Q aren't together, and the rest of them, they are together. B, C, D, and E, yep, they're all together. So that's all we can eliminate from rule number 3, right? Next rule number 4. S and U have to be together. That's fine in B. That's not fine in C, right? They're not together in C. They are together in D and E, so answer choice C is the only one we can eliminate with this rule. The fifth rule, third zone has more people than the second zone. That's true in B, that's true in D, that's not true in E. So that's rule number 5. And so let's go to these rules, right? So either P or T has to be in the first slot. So answer choice B, that is true, T is in the first slot. Answer choice D, it's not. S and U occupy that slot. Right, so rule number 1 eliminates answer choice D, which means the answer choice B is the correct answer here. Okay, let's keep moving. Number 13. Number 13 gets a little interesting because it asks us if more sales representatives work in zone 1 than zone 3, which of the following could be true. In other words, 1 has to be greater than 3, but then we also know 3 has got to be greater than 2, right? Because that was one of our original rules. So how do we split up 7 people such that this pattern holds? And the answer is there have to be 4 people in group 1, 2 people in group 3, 1 person in group 2. This is the only way that you can keep this strictly greater than relationship alive, right? So what does that mean? That means that 4 people in group 1 means immediately we eliminate this possibility, we eliminate this possibility because they have 2 and at most 2, respectively, which means we must be in this middle category, right? And this is where our inference really saves us a ton of time. So here we have PQ, we have T. We know that this first guy's got to have 2 more. We know this third guy's got to have at least 2, which means there's nothing left here, right? And so we have KM, we have S and U together, and we've got to fill these slots. Well, we don't know, we don't have any rules about who can go where in terms of these, so we just have to leave it like this. Right. Okay, well, let's go to the answer choice. Answer is A. Can Kim work in zone 2? Nope, because T is the only one who's there. Can M work in zone 2? Nope, for exactly the same reason. Can P work in zone 3? No, he's got to work in zone 1, right? Answer choice D. T works in zone 1? Nope, he's in 2. Because E's got to be right? U works in zone 3? Yeah. You can put S and U here, put K and M here. S and U are blocked together, which satisfies this rule. Answer choice E does work, so it could be true. Alright, let's go ahead and clear all of this and keep going. Next question. Next question is 14. Which of the following must be false? So since they don't give us any new information, this is something that we should be able to answer just from our inferences here. Right? So answer is A. K and S both work in zone 1. I don't see how that can ever be the case, right? Because K and S, even if we put K here, S is here. Over here, if we put K here, then S and U, K and S means K, S, and U, basically, right? Which means that 3 people here means that we don't get to fill this. And then over here, they're just not together, right? So answer is A, immediately off the bat looks like a promising candidate for something that can't ever be true. How about B? K and S both work in zone 3. I don't see why not, right? I mean, you put K and S and U and M, and that's fine, right? You can have a lot of people in zone 3 because at this point the only restriction we have is that 3 has to have more than 2 and 4 is definitely greater than 1, right? So it works in this middle scenario, so that's not it. How about C? M and S both work in zone 3. Again, the same scenario that gives us answer choice B is wrong also gives us answer choice C is wrong because you just put everybody over here in the third category. M and S do in fact work together, all right? How about D? M and U both work in zone 3. Once again, you put all 4 of these guys into this third slot. M and U work together. Yeah, why not? And how about E? P and S both work in zone 1. Well, yeah, right? Because over here, the only thing we had to do is make sure that there's at least 2 people here. So if we put S and U here, S and P get to work together, and then K and M fill these 2 slots. So it turns out answer choice A is the one that cannot be true under any circumstances. How about 15? Which one of the following could be a complete and accurate list of the sales representatives working in zone 3? Okay, so here they're asking for a complete and accurate list, meaning that, in any given possibility, these are the people that can work in zone 3. Okay, so answer choice A, K and M. Yeah, right? What if we put K and M here, and then S and U here, and that could be a complete and accurate list. Why not? So this looks like it could be a pretty good candidate. How about B, K and T? Can that happen here? No, K and T can't ever be in zone 3 together. How about over here, K and T? No, T is in 2. Now about over here, K and T? Well, they are together in zone 3, but there's also this M, right? Remember, this is a complete and accurate list, right? So answer choice B doesn't contemplate this M, so therefore it can't be correct. How about C, P and Q? Can P and Q ever be the only ones in zone 3? So over here, clearly no. Over here, again, clearly no. How about here, right? Over here, P and Q, but then it fails to account for this guy, this third guy that has to be there in order for there to be more people in 3 than 2. So once again, P and Q can be in 3, but it is not a complete and accurate list of people who are in 3. How about D? S, T, and U. S, T, and U, no way over here, no way over here. S, T, and U, no way over in this third one either, right? So there's no way that all of them can be in 3 together. And how about E? P, Q, S, and U. No, right? Because PQ means that S and U are here. P and Q means S and U. They can be together in 1, but they can't be together in 3. PQ, SU. Answer choice E just can't ever be the case. So it turns out answer choice A is, in fact, the correct answer. All right. Let's keep moseying. Question 16. Quinn cannot work in the same sales zone as who of the following? Okay, so can he work in the same sales zone as K? Well, why not, right? S and U here, K and M here. We're basically just eliminating these answer choices. So there's no reason that P and K can't work together, or Q and K can't work together, right? How about B? Q and M. Well, yeah, right, because S and U, K and M, so Q and M get to work together. A and B actually get eliminated by exactly the same possibility. Q and S? Sure, why not? Why don't we just reverse these, right? S, U, K, M, and then we have Q and S working together, right? So answer choice C is not correct. How about D? Q and T? Well, Q and T, they can't work together here. They also can't work together here, and they definitely can't work together here. So answer choice D looks very promising. And then how about E? Q and U, right? So once again, you put S and U here, you put K and M here, Q and U work together. So it turns out that answer choices C and E are also eliminated by the same exact possibility. So answer choice D is in fact the correct answer. Okay, home stretch. Question 17 was removed from scoring, meaning that they screwed something up. So let's just hop straight into 18. A, B, C, D, E. So now we want M and S to work in the same sales zone. Okay, so what does that mean? It means that we're definitely not here, right? Because M and S are working in separate sales zone here. We're also definitely not here because M and S, no matter where we put M, it's going to be separate from S, right? So once again, we are in this ambiguous land in the middle, right? Where we have P and Q here, we have T here, we have K, M, and then S and U together. And now we want M and S to work together. In other words, now instead of K, M, and then S and U, what we do is we can move this M up here. So we have M, S, and U all together in one humongous big family, right? So here's the question. We need to find a way in order for 3 to have more people than 2 and put these giant blocks in here together. Well, I mean, there's a very simple answer to that, right? Because if we put this giant block here, that means that 2 and 3 are going to have exactly the same set of people, right? So this block has to be over here in 3, which means that K still kind of does whatever it wants, right? But we know for sure that in order for M and S to work together, they have to be in 3. And so now they ask us what could be true. So answer choice A, K works in zone 2. Yeah, that could be true, right? What if we put K in zone 2? That works, because now 3 still has more people than 2, and we've satisfied all the rest of our rules, right? So answer choice A looks pretty good. How about B? M works in zone 1? No, he can't ever work in zone 1. Answer choice C, P works in zone 3? No, he can never work in zone 3. Answer choice D, S works in zone 2? No, S always has to be in 3. And how about E? T works in zone 1? No, he's always here in 2. So even if you didn't see this initially, process of elimination gives you answer choice A as the correct answer. And that's all the questions in this game.